disease of high blood sugars. And type 2 diabetes, there are more than one type of diabetes, so we'll concentrate on the type 2, which is a common form that is prevalent everywhere. So the body produces a hormone called insulin, and it comes from an organ called the pancreas. In people with diabetes, that hormone is either lacking or the hormone is there and is not working well. So because the insulin is needed to regulate the blood sugars, if you don't have insulin or it's not working well, your blood sugars go up. So that in a nutshell is a description of the disease. Next slide, please. It's almost an epidemic. For some reason we don't understand fully, diabetes is becoming commoner and commoner over the years. In 2010, 6.6% of the world's population has diabetes. That is 285 million. By the time 2030 comes around, in 20 years, that's going to be 438 million cases. That is 7.8% of the whole population of the world. In certain communities, like the South Asians, it's much higher, the prevalence. In this neck of the woods, it's up to 10%. So if there's 200 people in this audience here, it's more than at least 20 people have diabetes. So it's that common. So if you don't have it, somebody you know probably does. The cause is very unclear why people get diabetes, but it's a combination of genetics and the environment and lifestyle. So you know that diabetes runs in families, and that's because of the genetic potential of getting diabetes. But not everyone gets diabetes, even though they have strong family histories, because it's a combination and interaction of lifestyle and the genetic baggage. Next. So that slide there shows how the diabetes incidence and prevalence is increasing. That's a US slide, but that pretty much reflective of everywhere you look, even in Canada. So the numbers and the percentage keeps going up and up and up. Next one. So the cost. In 2020, diabetes would cost the Canadian healthcare system $17 billion a year. That's a fully 10 to 13% of the whole healthcare budget. So diabetes is big dollars. To an individual, to one person, diabetes costs about $1,000 to $10,000 a year. So if you look at it as a society, or if you look at it individually, it's an expensive business. The global cost, they say, is going to be 376 billion US dollars now, and by it'll be 480 billion by 2030. So the cost keeps going up too. But that's just financial costs. The more important cost is to people's lives. So what does it do? I mean, why do you care if your blood sugar is high? So what? The blood sugar is really, really high, people feel unwell. If it is slightly high, nobody feels unwell. People feel well. So why should we worry about this disease that is so silent? It's because it causes problems in a very silent way. It is chronic kidney disease due to diabetes is the most important or leading cause of kidney failure and dialysis in Canada. Among people of working age, diabetes is the leading cause of blindness. And the neuropathy, the nerve damage that the diabetes causes leads to amputations in many people. 80% of people with diabetes will eventually die of a heart attack. So it's not the sugar that matters, but what it does to the body in a very silent, surreptitious, very sneaky way. Next slide. So what do we have to do about it? So it's good that I'm talking where I see a lot of educators, because at the end of the day, education is the key. We have to learn and teach our children and our people what diabetes is, what it does, why it cannot be ignored, and how we meet the challenge. So how we meet the challenge is prevention and management. Can we prevent this scourge from taking over? We can. And it depends to a great degree on changing your lifestyles. So lifestyle means diet and activity. So you have to teach, especially the young ones, the children. Education is not only in a school. Education is in the school of life. How do we learn how to eat? How do we learn to live life? We learn from our parents. We learn from the community. So we all have a role here to teach each and everybody else how to eat. We have to relearn how to eat. This talk is too short for me to go into the very details of these things, but we have to relearn how to eat, how to incorporate physical activity into a daily life. And we all live very busy lives. I mean, we get up in the morning, we get into the car, we drive on one of the 400 series of highways to work. We go, we sit down in front of a computer, most people, or in a classroom, wherever. And then at 5 o'clock, we go back home, eat dinner, and sit in front of the TV till we go to sleep. That ain't going to work. So you have to incorporate a certain degree of physical activity in your life. It is like taking a medication. And once somebody gets diabetes, as a lot of people will, in spite of all this, you have to manage it. You can't ignore it. And that management also involves a lot of modification to your diet and your activity levels. And then some people will need medications, and you have to be diligent about it and take it properly. So that is the challenge. But it's not all bad news. The good news is that if you do these things, if you don't ignore the disease, if you do the right things from an individual level and a societal level, we can decrease these complications. If each and every person who is at risk of getting diabetes, and that goes for every person of South Asian heritage, if you do the right things, your chance of getting diabetes down the road is minimized. Of those who get it, if you do the right things, your chance of getting those debilitating complications of diabetes will be lessened. And that is from an individual level as well as from a societal level. From a societal level, we have to improve the awareness of the disease, make structural changes to the way people live. More public transport. Diabetes goes hand in hand with obesity. And there's a lot of evidence that in some areas of the GTA where people walk to work, there's less obesity and diabetes. In the suburbs, there's more diabetes because we drive all the time. Okay? So these are fundamental things that the society has to do as well as we as individuals have to do to make changes. That's all I had to say. I hope that'll give you a little glimpse into the problem we face and some hope and inspiration that you'll go home and take this message to all those people that you know who are at risk of getting diabetes and who already have it. Thank you very much.
And by way of saying thank you to Dr. Dharmalingam, we would like to present him with a certificate of appreciation. So please listen to the doctor. I'd like to extend a little bit beyond what he said. Let's cut down on the sweets. Let's walk towards work as much as possible, or walk after work, or use the car less and try to park far away from the door into the building so you can get a little bit of exercise that way, and eat healthy. Thank you very much, Dr. Dharmalingam. Let me tell you a little bit about our group, Sharing Rich Traditions. We are a group of volunteers. So everybody that you see around at the desk at the back, the laptop desk, the 50-50 drawer, Ms. Singh, who was up here talking about networking, everyone that you see at the front, we are all volunteers. In our group, we have community volunteers, we have educators, and we have professionals. We have 3 goals. And the first goal is networking. It's bringing people together. It's getting people to connect under positive circumstances so that they can build those positive relationships. And by the way, if you exchange a phone number with somebody today, that's not networking. You have to work. Now you have the net, you have to work. You have to invite them over for dinner. You have to go to a park. So you have to do some networking. It wouldn't just happen in one visit. So we try to bring people together. That's the first goal. The second goal, we try to educate, to inspire, and to entertain. So we had music. We have had Dr. Dharmalingam come up to talk to us. We've had the Honorable Minister talk to us. So we try to do those 3. And the third, the monies we raise, we try to raise awareness. We try to educate people that there are people in the world less fortunate than us. So how can we make a difference for those people who are less fortunate than us? So all the proceeds, beyond just covering the cost, all the proceeds of tonight's event or this evening's event will go towards a trust that has been established called the Salam Balak Trust. And we are doing that in partnership with Plan Canada. That project that we're working on, the cost of that project is 38,000 Canadian dollars. And the purpose of the project is to take girls off the street in New Delhi, India. Last year, we used the proceeds to drill water wells in Benin, Africa. And those water wells come online in July of this year. So if you would like to contribute to that cause, there is an opportunity at the back. Anything contributed beyond $25, you get a tax receipt from Plan Canada. At this time, I'd like to ask us to pause and reflect on something which is a bit abstract, philosophical, on time. You know, we always think about yesterday, the dream, and yesterday is a dream. We always think about the good things we did yesterday, and we're always thinking about tomorrow. Thinking of, do we have enough money in the bank? We are thinking about investments. But the really most important time is now. It's the present. So when you make a commitment to eat healthy, do it now. Not